Hey guys, I'm all back in. It's been 15 days of me using the Moto Razr, but still loving it so far. Can almost do everything on the outside screen if I needed to, so this saves me a lot of time opening and closing up my phone compared to the previous flip phone phones that I've used on Samsung. Although there are some minor flaws with the outside display on this phone. For example, you cannot customize some of the games that are there by default. I think these games are optimized to be used on the outer screen, and they are just there as a panel, and you can't really replace it. I believe you technically can get rid of the panels, but you can't really customize it. It is not a deal breaker for me. I have never really played any of these games. I think I'll launch it once for 10 seconds just to see what it's like. But in general, if I were to play any games, I would just open up the phone. I don't see why anyone would want to play on the smaller screen where they have access to the larger 6.9-inch display. And one way to combat that is you can just add your personal games if you are determined to play games on the front display. Just add them to the apps section and you just scroll down and access from there. Just be aware that the own personal games that you add might not be perfectly optimized, so there's going to be some weird situation when you're playing it. It may not work the way that you want, and when you open up the screen, the game may not reset, so you have been warned. And on the outside screen, there are some panels. Think of them as widgets. They have Spotify and Google Fit, and you can add them or remove them. But not everything is available. It is pretty limited. I wish they had YouTube Music instead of Spotify, because I don't really use Spotify. But just in general, the panels are not really helpful for me. There's like 6 or 10 of them. I don't find myself scrolling all the way to the right to access all the panels. For the most part, occasionally I'll scroll to the right to access the apps, but I mostly just live in the notifications section right here at the bottom. Whenever something come in, I'll just check that, and if I can take care of it on the outside display, I'll do that. And if I need to take further action, we'll open up the phone. The outer display have much more functionality compared to prior years. It is not 100% functional like the inner display, but you can do pretty much 90% of the things on the outside. Watching videos is fine on this phone as well. Sometimes I watch it in the outer display, sometimes I watch it in the inner display. For the most part, I just leave my phone in portrait mode. I get lazy to turn my phone back and forth. And the portrait mode allows me to see the time. Like if I'm watching it full screen, I don't have access to the time, therefore I tend to watch my videos vertically. And most of the time I end up just listening to my videos anyways. I have YouTube Premium, so I can just have the screen off and just listen to the audio. But the screen is pretty bright, no issues with viewing angles or anything outside for me. Everything is pretty standard and works the way it should. It is IP52 dust resistant this year, so it doesn't accumulate as much dust as I have seen in prior Galaxy Z Flip and Fold, which is a nice little upgrade. I wish it has water resistant though, just for ease of mind. I don't typically shower with my phones or anything like that, because even if it is water resistant, sometimes the water still gets stuck in the charging port, and then you can't even charge your phone unless you have a wireless charger. So having additional water resistant functionality would have been nice, but it is not a deal breaker by any means. Speakers on this phone are pretty loud. I never have any issue hearing or anything like that. I'm not really picky with speakers as long as I can hear it. There's no crackle, echo, or anything like that. There wouldn't be any complaints from me. If me, I record daily videos like these just to document my journey with these phones. And whenever I transfer files to the computer, it is slightly annoying because I have to click file transfer every time, like connect my phone to the computer. By default, it just charges the phone, and I wish that my file would just show automatically. Pixel does this by default too. And I'm pretty sure you can just go into the developer settings somewhere and change the default action. But it is not that intuitive, and everything takes time and effort. So sometimes I just get a little lazy. Although this phone is really fast and smooth for almost every aspect of it, but for some reason in the settings, every time I search for something, it takes a few seconds for the results to show. And often it is not easy to find, or it doesn't really show what I'm looking for, then I just end up giving up. Razr Plus is perfect for checking social media on the outer display. There's something nice and satisfying about scrolling through the feed on the outside screen in spurts. The battery is pretty long lasting as well, so it's been working out great for me. It does have a very low 5-watt wireless charging, but me personally, I don't really mind it. I just work from home most of the day, so I'm not in a rush to get a charge up to 100% super fast. So it just sits on my desk, and by the end of the day, when I get off work, it's still at 100%. So it's pretty easy and effortless. Save some time connecting in the cable if I don't really need to. But the theme of today is that everything takes time and effort, and as long as it has some type of wireless charging, and it works correctly. I don't need to worry about it. I'm a pretty heavy user, so I can usually kill this phone in about 9 hours on a heavy usage day, but on light usage day, it will last me 15 hours. So for reference, my Google Pixel 7a that I was using previously, heavy usage day, I can only get 4 hours, and light usage days, I get 9 hours. The mileage is definitely going to vary, but that's also been my own personal experience. Overall, I think the Razr Plus is still a perfect phone for my busy lifestyle, and I would still recommend it, even though it is a little pricey. But if you can find a trading deal or find it on discount, it is a really fun phone to use. Going on a walk is a breeze for this phone as well. I do like the fact that it's small and compact. I never want to go jogging. I can easily hold it. It feels very secure. Fits in my shorts easily. It's great, compact, and easy to travel and walk around with. And I love all the flexibility. If you want to be active, you can also work out at home and watch YouTube workout videos. Just prop your phone anywhere, angle your screen, and you can easily just follow along with the workout videos. So little benefits like that do add up. So just in summary, the Moto Razr Plus, it's not the best camera that money can buy, but it gets the job done. Not everyone needs the best camera every single day. It is not the newest chip, but most people won't really notice the difference. Even Apple is using a 1-year-old chip on the latest iPhones, and it is not the best battery that money can buy either, but it can easily last you through a day depending on the usage style. And yes, the crease is still there, but I don't really care about it. Apple got that ugly notch on top of the screen for many years. They got obnoxious camera bumps in the back, but no one really bat an eye. So with the crease, your eye is gonna adapt. It is still a super fun phone to use. You're paying for the novelty factor, you're paying for the nostalgia, you're paying to get the satisfaction of opening and closing the phone. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video so far. Let me know in the comments below if there's any other topics you want me to cover. This has been my favorite experience with flipping phones. Samsung phones, I've used a Flip 3 and Flip 4, and honestly, since you can't really do much on the outer display, you have to open the phone every single time, and it does get really tiring. So as a result, I just always have the phone open, which defeats the purpose of a folding phone. But Moto Razr Plus 2023, they did the folding phone right by adding more functionality on the outer screen. And I really love LG V60 cover display screen back in the day. Technically, it's not a really folding phone, but it's more like a folding case. And I think that one's really cool. And you get 2 large internal display. And you just want to use the phone like a regular rectangular phone, you just take it out and just use it like that. Those were the good old days. RIP LG. They will always be remembered for trying new things and never really getting enough love. Part of the reasons why I want to do deep dive on these Motorola Razr phone, because sometimes little guys can get forgotten. Everyone love Apple and Samsung. I do too, but I'm always rooting for the underdogs as well. Samsung used to be the underdog when the Galaxy S3 came out, and then we're going toe to toe with Apple. But, you know, you're the hero until you live long enough to be the villain. Kind of circle of life there. But I do love what Motorola did this year with the Razr Plus. The only thing I wish they changed is the name. Maybe add 23 at the end or something, or just be consistent with the name, just for the sake of making it easier to Google. And I cover these phones daily, and I still struggle to keep up with the naming convention. I believe in the UK, they call it the Motorola Razr 40 and the Motorola Razr 40 Plus is the current phone I'm using now. The 40 is coming later in the year, the budget version of the flipping phone. But consistency is key. Less confusion is always better. I feel like if Motorola want more people to know these phones exist, just name it something that's easy to remember. Alright guys, remember to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more contents like these. Please check out my 2 weeks review if you haven't already.